guys, welcome back to our channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Molly and I recently moved back to England from Nicaragua. If you go back through my videos you can have a look about our journey and why we moved back to England and everything. But today I thought I would do a Q&A about expat living in Nicaragua. We often get asked lots of questions about what it was like living in Nicaragua, and I think a lot of people are interested in potentially going to visit Nicaragua or moving out there. So I thought I got a list of questions that a few of you have asked and I thought I would go through them and answer them for you today. So grab yourselves a drink if you want. I've got myself a hot chocolate. It's November and it's rainy and cold here in England, so I am longing for those lovely warm days in Nicaragua right now, and yeah, the closest thing I've got to warmth right now is this hot chocolate. The first question is, why did you decide to move to Nicaragua? Very good question. So my husband and I, Freddie, moved to Costa Rica back in 2020 and we really enjoyed living there. Actually, we had some wonderful times and wonderful memories there. We actually got married in Costa Rica and that's where our whole Central American journey began. But then we moved back to England to birth our child Theodore and spent some time here, and then we went back to Costa Rica about a year and a half later and it had really changed. The country didn't seem the same as it used to be. It was very expensive and I mean, it's always been quite expensive, but it was very expensive, very busy now, and actually not that safe, which I think comes as a bit of a shock when I tell people that I found Nicaragua much safer than Costa Rica. Their first reaction is, oh, I thought Costa Rica was safer than Nicaragua. But that wasn't the case for what we experienced, and instead of coming all the way back to Europe while we were there, we decided we'll go and explore Nicaragua. We had heard wonderful things about it, and the moment we crossed over the border from Costa Rica into Nicaragua, I just felt this incredible feeling of happiness and joy for the land that I was walking on. It was the most amazing experience I have ever had. I think Nicaragua is still so untouched, and of course I can say that I was a foreigner visiting the country, so I was contributing to it getting busier, but there's something so unique and special about Nicaragua. It's really hard to put into words the kind of feeling I had when I first went there, but I said to Freddie, I just want to live here. Okay, next question. How easy is it to find a place to live in Nicaragua? Very good question. So, rentals are everywhere. You can, pretty much go into every town and village and ask people if there's anywhere to rent. But the best place we found for renting rental accommodation was Facebook Marketplace. It was really, really good. I think there's so much out there in the estate agent windows and everything that is a bit overpriced. And if you have a good level of Spanish or you're learning Spanish, I would highly recommend going through Facebook Marketplace and directly contacting the landlords. It can save you an awful lot of money, but if you are looking for someone to take care of it all for you and do all of that, then go through an estate agency. There are loads in San Juan del Sur in particular. There's lots for you to choose from, so it's not that hard to find somewhere to rent in Nicaragua, but depending on your budget, if you want something a bit cheaper, then you might want to consider looking on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, question number 3. I'm currently sat, by the way, kind of nestled in between this massive cushion, and it's very comfy. So if that's what you're wondering what this is, it's called a hugging pillow or something. It's great. So question number 3, let's have a look. Is Nicaragua safe? So I actually got asked this. I get asked this a lot from multiple different people, friends, family, people on Instagram, people on YouTube. The most common question I get asked is Nicaragua safe? And yes, it's safe. It's so interesting when I get asked this question. Everyone thinks Nicaragua is actually really dangerous when from my own experience, and I can only go from my experience, but I had wonderful encounters with everyone in Nicaragua, and I have to say that I felt very safe there. I felt much safer there in Nicaragua than I did in Costa Rica. Intimidating travelling anywhere, but especially in Central America, you know, you hear all these stories of is it dangerous and is it safe to go there as a woman, and I have always felt really safe there. Of course, you know, I always take kind of standard precautions when travelling to a foreign area, foreign country, and you know, things like going out late at night, going out in the dark. I would probably not do that myself. Depends where you're living. I mean, if you're in the centre of San Juan del Sur and you want to go down to the beachfront in the evening and have a drink, of course I would feel completely safe doing that. But if I was in the middle of Managua, in an area where I didn't know, I wouldn't just randomly walk around at night. You know, more just for the fact that you're not from there and people are probably going to speak to you and ask you questions, and that could be a bit intimidating. But yes, Nicaragua is safe, and that's all I can really say on the matter from my own experience, is that I felt incredibly safe there, and the people are so friendly and so generous that they contribute to that safe feeling, as well as my experience made me feel safe. I'm sure some people have different stories, but in general I think Nicaragua is, if not the safest country in Central America. The last time I checked, I think it actually is the safest country in Central America. So if you are planning to visit there, just go there and enjoy it. You know, it is a wonderful, wonderful place. So yeah, that's my experience. Okay, question number 4. What are the costs of living like in Nicaragua compared to your home country? Okay, that's a very interesting question. So I am from England. The price difference, the price difference in Nicaragua, well, let's just say things are a lot cheaper there for me. Of course, I feel like that question is subjective to where you're from and, you know, where you've been living, but I personally found it a lot cheaper than England, a lot cheaper. So certain things like rent were extremely cheap compared to here. So we were paying $300 in Nicaragua for a 2-bedroom apartment, and in London we would be paying about $2,000 minimum without bills included for a 2-bedroom apartment. And even in the rural parts of England, you'll be looking at like £1,500, maybe about $1,600–1,700 for renting a 2-bedroom apartment. So yeah, rent was so much cheaper in Nicaragua. Food was an interesting one. I really found it about the same. We're quite fortunate here in England to have quite affordable food. So I would say it was around the same kind of price, if not a little bit more, because a lot of the food is imported into Nicaragua from the United States, so of course the prices do go up. But I would say it is around the same. It depends what you want to buy. If I was looking for more products that I would find in England or America, then of course they were more expensive. But if I was just eating locally and, you know, from a lot of just fresh fruit and vegetables, then it was affordable. You can definitely live there in Nicaragua on not very much income. Yeah, loads of people do it, and it's very common to go to Nicaragua and not have a huge budget. So If that's what you're looking for, then I would recommend going. Question number 5. What language do you need to know to live comfortably in Nicaragua? So in Nicaragua they speak Spanish, and I would say you need, a basic level of Spanish to get by, especially if you are travelling on public transport and you're trying to, speak to people negotiating prices on travel or housing, or I would say a basic level of Spanish is needed. I grew up in Spain, so I very fortunately knew how to speak Spanish prior to moving to Central America. And I would say it was so helpful. My husband, Freddie, doesn't speak Spanish, and he basically just relied on me for everything, which was, at times it was brilliant, because he would tell me to say something and I could just tell the person whatever I wanted and he wouldn't know what I'm saying. But no, the majority of the time we managed to get by with me speaking Spanish. But I think it is so important. He learnt the basics, and I think it's so important when you do go to another country just to learn how to say please and thank you and a few basic phrases to get around, because you are in their country after all, and it's polite to do that. So I would say yes, the language you need to speak in Nicaragua is Spanish. Question number 6. This is a good one. Okay, so what is the expat community like in Nicaragua? Is it easy to make friends? Very, very good question. So, where do I even begin? I would say yes and no. Actually, I would be a bit difficult with this answer, but yes and no. It is easy to make friends in Nicaragua. There are lots of expats out there. There are lots of people that potentially are from America and England and Germany and France, and you can connect over the fact that you have all moved there. But is it easy to make long-lasting friendships in Nicaragua? Hard to tell, because so many people who move there move on within a few months, or they're just travelling. So I would say it was quite hard for us to make permanent friendships for the time we were there, bearing in mind we were only there for a year, so it's really hard for us to give you like a wide time frame on that. But I would say it is quite difficult to make long-lasting friendships from just our small experience there, just because so many people do move around, and it's often quite hard to arrange where you're going to meet, and people have kind of more relaxed timings out there. Whereas here in England, and I'm sure it might be the same in America, you say you're going to meet someone at a certain time and you turn up then, but from my experience in Nicaragua, they might turn up, they might not turn up. It's just a lot more relaxed, and that is also really nice, but can be frustrating. So yes, I think you can make friends wherever you go in the world, but making those really good long-lasting connections with people might be a little bit harder when you're visiting such a sunny touristy destination. Okay, here's question number 7. What do you do for work? So Freddie and I now run a coffee business where we are importing coffee from Nicaragua here into the UK, and then we have our own brand of coffee called Travelling Roots Coffee. And I can leave the link down below if you want to read on our website about our journey and everything. But we basically, while we were in Nicaragua, discovered the most amazing coffee in the north near the border of Honduras. And we decided to share the most amazing coffee with the people here. And so far it's going really well. We are stocked in quite a few shops and cafes, and that is our full-time job now. While we were in Nicaragua, we did bits of online work, remote work, and I would say that most expats that I have met do remote work in Nicaragua, because it's obviously an easy way to make a living. If you've got a job that you can do from a computer, then it's a perfect place to live, really. So that's what we did in Nicaragua, and then while we were there, we started putting together this coffee project, and that's where we are now. Question number 8, how is your health now? Thank you very much for asking that. My health is getting there. I would say it's been really difficult, and I've had such strong treatment that it's going to take a year probably for me to start to feel more myself. I have really low levels of energy and a lot of fatigue on a daily basis, and I still really struggle to do a lot of day-to-day activities. I need to rest a fair amount, but I'm getting better, thank you, and my results have all been good for the past few months, so everything is on the upward trajectory, but it's just going to require some patience and time, which I'm not known for having loads of patience, so there's that to contend with. Okay, I'm very aware of the time. I don't want to rabbit on too much longer. Any more questions that people have? What are your favourite places to visit in Nicaragua? Ooh, okay, Ometepe Island. Ometepe Island is the most amazing place for me in the planet. It's just so special, it has the most magical feel to it, and fairy tale island, as I like to call it, with the volcanoes and everything. So if you are visiting Nicaragua, I would really recommend going to Ometepe Island. We actually have a video on our trip to Ometepe, and it kind of explains how you go through the port and onto the ferry and everything. So do click on that video if you'd like to research a bit more about Ometepe. But yeah, Ometepe is number one for me. Managua is also a beautiful city. There's so many amazing things to see there, and if you need a bit of shopping or like just some travel essentials or whatever, I would go there. It's brilliant. Rivas is also great, like lovely to go to have a coffee, walk around, maybe have something to eat. Lovely town. And then San Juan del Sur is great, very busy and quite touristy, but yeah, I really enjoyed San Juan del Sur. It's fun. Granada as well, another beautiful city with so much history, and we really enjoyed staying there actually. Personally, we preferred going to the more rural, less touristy areas of Nicaragua. For example, visiting Ocotal in Nueva Segovia in the north was such an experience, and one I treasure forever, and hopefully we get to go back there at some time in the future. But yeah, I would say the whole country is great, but if you're on a bit of a time scale, then I would definitely go for Ometepe Island. It is, yeah, one place you will never forget is Ometepe. Okay, are we going back to Nicaragua? That is number 9, I think. Question number 9. Are we going back to Nicaragua? No, we are not moving back to Nicaragua. After the year I've had, if you don't know, I got diagnosed with cancer this year, and I am now in remission after 5 months of chemotherapy, but I need regular checks from the hospital and tests every couple of weeks, so that isn't really possible for me to move back to Nicaragua and focus on. Right now I need to focus on my health and getting better, and also we started a coffee business with importing Nicaraguan coffee, so it makes sense for us to stay here for now and build the business. We also have a toddler, a 2-year-old son, and he's done a lot of travelling, a lot of moving since he was born, and we are feeling the importance right now. The important part of his life is for us to settle a bit right now. So no, we will not be going back to Nicaragua for the moment, which is sad, but also life takes interesting turns, and ultimately you have to go with what's right for you at the time. But hopefully in a year or so we will go back to visit Nicaragua and go and visit some of the coffee farms and see our friends out there. I really, I do miss it on a daily basis, and I'm still in touch with so many lovely people out there, so looking forward to going back. Okay, one final question before I end this Q&A. Number 10. What was your experience of the healthcare system in Nicaragua? So I was in hospital in Nicaragua for a short amount of time before we came back to England, and I was in the military hospital in Managua. It is a private hospital and I cannot recommend it enough. It was incredible. They did everything they could do, and they helped me enormously get myself, you know, fit enough to come back to England, where I received further treatment. But yeah, I can only speak really highly of the military hospital. I haven't had any experience of the public healthcare system. I have heard very mixed messages from people, from other expats who have had, you know, health issues and had to go to the public hospital. I personally was in a fortunate position where we were able to pay for the private healthcare in Nicaragua, and yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was really, really good, and the doctor spoke English to me, even though I was able to speak Spanish. I think in such a distressing time, for me it was great to speak to someone in my mother tongue, and she was just wonderful. I can't really speak highly enough of her. The next day Freddie was able to come in and see me, but they had that was the only thing I'll say, is it were quite sort of strict rules around visiting hours, and of course when you are, you know, going through something difficult, you do want your loved one by your side, so that's the only thing I found quite difficult, but I'm sure they had perfectly good reasons for it, and we were able to be reunited. And actually they had facilities on the hospital campus. They had areas where your family could stay. You had to pay extra, but yeah, they have areas where your family can stay, and it's almost like a hotel within the compound, which was great and really reassuring for me to know that Freddie and Theodore were just over there, just across the road, and that they were taken care of. And there is somewhere you can, you know, get food there at the military hospital, and the parking is easy, and everything is actually very very clean and tidy and direct, and you know, it's all very organised. So I can only speak very highly of that experience, and a big thank you actually to the doctor in Nicaragua, Gabriella. She was incredible, and I'm actually still in touch with her now, and she's, you know, she continued sort of looking after me. Even once I moved back to England, she continued to stay in touch and message me and see how my treatment was going. So yeah, huge thank you to her. And thank you all for being here on this video today. I really appreciate you tuning in to hear about our experience of living in Nicaragua. And yeah, hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you soon in another video. Bye!